Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutation to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Matter of fact, Salakia, I want to say all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakai Kodash. Alright? Like I said, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutation to you, Akim, that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. This is the brother Zion Amath from the GMS Detroit Buy Camp. All right, I want to do quick video, touching on Esau. I was just thinking about this verse, and where it's in several places of the gospel, but basically about, where it talk about the first being last and the last should be first. It made me think of Esau because, he was the firstborn son. But yet, hey, he's going to be last in the kingdom of heaven, So, hey, I guess it sucks to be the firstborn sometimes because, the firstborn is supposed to get the inheritance and whatnot. But, hey, the Lord is beautiful. He set it up through the Spirit for Jacob, so-called second-born son to get it because he was already promised before it. Promised and predestined before the beginning of the world, for Jacob to rule. So I'm gonna just get some quick scripts on that, and I'm gonna close out. This is Mark 10. I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 24, just to kind of get right to the point. It says, and the disciples were astonished at his words, but Yahushua answered again and said unto them, Children, how hard is it for them that trust in riches to enter into the kingdom of the Most High? That was basically a rhetorical, statement. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, isn't Esau the rich man right now? Hey, referring to the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, and isn't Esau living this deliciously right now, right? According to the promises that was given to him by his father Isaac, who was Yahushua, the spirit, if you can receive that. He was the one that gave this. Yahushua is the one that gave so-called white man his power that he has today. He said, you're going to have the fatness in the earth and you're going to live by the sword. And lo and behold, that's not true. He's conquering any and every nation. Since he's came into power, going back to the, we'll say like late 1400s up until now, ruling with the sword, which is his military might, all right, spread, democracy and homosexuality and religion everywhere he turns, all right. He has the fatness of the earth. He's living in, these luxurious lofts and, sky rises or whatnot, looking upon the people, jet setting everywhere you go, talking about the rich elite, of course, that they jet setting to the point they don't even have to touch the earth. They don't even have to touch the ground, walk on, this concrete. They just go from rooftop to rooftop, Ain't that a bitch? But all that pride, you know what I'm saying? Them, living, loftily, hey, the Lord's gonna bring all that shit to a halt. He gonna just crush their ass. There go, the first shall be last. Referring to Esau. But, just to stay on point as of right now, he is the rich man. So, hey, you can't enter with physical riches into the kingdom because, especially with Esau being carnal, that's what he trusts in. He trusts in his military might and his so-called money. You know what I'm saying? That's his power, It says it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And they were astonished out of measure, saying among themselves, who then can be saved? And Yahushua looking upon them said, with men it is impossible, but with the Most High, for with the Most High all things are possible. Then Peter began to say unto them, Lo, we have left all and have followed thee. And Yahushua answered and said, Verily I say unto you, there is no man that have left house, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my sake and the gospel's, but he shall receive 100-fold now in this time, houses, and brethren, and sisters, and mothers, and children, and lands with persecutions, in the world to come eternal life. You know? And Esau, he's not going to do that. He can't do it. Because he's a carnal spirit. He's a carnal entity. You know, he can't forsake the world because, hey, that's all he has. For the scripture said, the world is given into the hands of the wicked. You know? Job 9:24. So since that's all he has, you know, that's what he trusts in. He trusts in that power, that control that he has over the whole earth, you know, and his military might and his riches. You know what I'm saying? He's already in his kingdom, essentially. You know, and hey, he's gonna go out with a bang, you know what I'm saying, to his last breath. So, you know, he can't receive the kingdom. One, because it wasn't promised. Two, he's carnal. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, it wouldn't even be just. You know what I'm saying? You also have to reap what you sow. And since the so-called white man has sown wickedness in the earth, he has to receive that. You know? He has to. Because the Most High is a righteous power. He deals with judgment. Okay? And again, hey, that's why I say the first shall be last and last shall be first. I'll read it right here, yeah. But many that are first shall be last, and the last first. All right, so who was first? Let's go to Genesis 25, maybe around. I start at 21. And Isaac entreated, again, who is Yahushua. Isaac is Yahushua. All right, if you can receive that. It said, and Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh retreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. All right? Even though it's referring to it's referring to the 2 babes in Rebekah's womb as 2 nations, 2 different nations. All right? Because it said they're going to be separated. All right? They're not going to be joined hand in hand together. They're not going to get along. You know, they was already struggling in the womb. So how much more, hey, when they get up out of there? You know what I'm saying? They gonna war, hey, until the end of time. You know, because that's how the Lord got this movie set up. You know, this thing we call life. You know, that's how it's set up. It says, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, referring to Jacob, and the elder shall serve the younger, and referring to Esau. Esau is gonna serve Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. All right. Again, he already served, you know, one time, you know, under King David, all right? But he's also going to serve, you know, for 1,000 years in the kingdom of heaven under Jacob, all right? For when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first, all right, the first shall be last and the last first. The first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Right? So the firstborn son that came out was the bloody son. Came out red, so-called white person. He came out red all over like a hairy garment, right? Because, we used to dye garments way back when, red. You know what I'm saying? So they compared it unto that garment, all right? And he's described. He's the first, basically the first, um, can't really call him human, but the first being to be described, with a particular look, especially up to this point anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't have to describe Jacob because Jacob was normal. It's normal to have melanin, to have dark skin, or what they would call pigment. You know what I'm saying? Well, you come out white, it's like, oh shit, this is different. This is unprecedented. This has never happened before. Call him Esau, Aisha, like, damn. Like, wasted, meaning, wasted away is he, you know? It says, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And when Isaac was 60 years old, when she bare them, you know. So that's the point, that the firstborn son that came out is was Esau, right, and Jacob was the second-born son or the last. All right, and going back to Mark 10:31, it said, like I said, the last or the first should be last, and the last first. All right. Matter of fact, I want to link this up with Second Ezra because it said it took hold. It says after that came his brother out, and his hand Jacob took hand of the heel of Esau. You know what I'm saying, which was spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Because, your heel, your feet, that's like your foundation. You know what I'm saying? Especially referring to the, what they call the Achilles heel, I think. Matter of fact, you got a lot of basketball players that get that type of injury and, like, they're down. Ain't no ball playing or any sport. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. When your Achilles is torn or ripped or whatever, you're fucked. You can't stand upon your feet. You don't have any might. You don't have any stability. And that's what's going to happen to Esau. Now I don't have the Apocrypha, right, on this app, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna read. This is 2nd Ezra 6. Yep, this is 2nd Ezra 6. And I'm gonna start at 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Right? The Lord made everything, and that's fine and dandy. But the Most High, out of all the people, he chose a particular people, right? That was gonna, rule one day. Okay? It says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Right? The whole world was created for Jacob to rule. Going back to Adam, he had dominion over everything, over the fish, over the birds, over the cattle, even to the point he's the one that named, everything, every animal that we know. He's the author of that. He named that, which is power in itself. It said, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Right? It's the abundance, because hey, you talking about 17 nations outside of the nation of Israel, so that's a lot of people. But all those nations collectively is just a drop of a bucket in the eyes of the Lord. Meaning they're insignificant. They're vain. They're not shit. You know? That's why they're gonna clean shit in the kingdom of heaven. Alright? It says, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we thy people whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, thy fervent lover. Oh, Salaki, I'm missing something. Salaki, that's not what I want. I do, Salaki. I do. I forgot I had this app on here. Let me find it right quick. If it'll allow me. I can't think of that script right now. Okay. They can set Salaki for that. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 8. It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. You know, referring to Genesis 25. It says, for Esau is the end of the world. All right, going back to Mark 10 and 31. All right, the first shall be last and the last first. All right, Esau is the end of this thing. So when Esau is in rulership, all right, no, hey, that's it. There's no other nations that's going to rule after him. Okay, he's reached the pinnacle of society. So after that, hey, the Lord's come back to destroy this place. Okay, it says, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Well, that's the point there, you know. So Jacob is the next to rule. He's the second born son, the last that's going to be first. That's going to be the head in the kingdom of heaven, you know. It talks about, you know, if we were to in Deuteronomy 28, if we were to keep the laws, you know what I'm saying, that would be the head and not the tail. And basically that's what we're going back to. You know, we're not going to be in subject to any of these heathen nations anymore. You know, we've lived out and served our sentence. All right, now it's time for us to reap the reward thereof, you know, especially for the hopeful elect, for standing so stiffly, you know, for the Most High. So, you know, that's all I wanted to bring out on that, you know. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutation to Yakim that's pushing his word and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.